but we'll make it work. We got this thing low enough from watching Woodchecker that orientation is locked. Okay, there we go. All right. We got this I don't know, low enough there from watching Woodchecker while we were out here doing some stuff that I gotta keep it plugged in. But that's all right. We can work with it. So here's what I got today. I've got this NS832 Neotec chainsaw, and the coil that's in it now has fell apart twice. Now these things are tough. It's just the way they're made. I've been able to find the parts laying on the ground, take the parts, put them back in the saw. In fact, the whole bottom half of the coil metal was missing completely, and the saw would still run. I mean, my chainsaw guy said, that doesn't make any sense at all. I'm like, dude, all I can tell you is I put it back in there, it still runs. But that said, it's gotten weak, and I put 2 spark plugs in it, checking to make sure that wasn't it. And we have a brand new coil for it. We know the coil that was in it. It just got absolutely destroyed. Hey, Billy, Plywood, Tim, what's going on? Mud Dog, Heidi, Shoop, how's it going? Anyway, we're going to change this out. So I'm going to tell you straight up, I do not like working on stuff. I don't like mechanical work like this at all. That said, there's always a satisfaction in accomplishing it. And so I thought, you know, this is one of those intimidating things. Let me take that top off, take the wire off spark plug first. This is one of them intimidating things that, you know, most people don't want to do, and I don't want to. I think so you got to put the button down and choke, and then pull it back up. There we go. And take that wire off, take all chance of it coming on. It's not going to come on, but you can see the boot was already gone. This wire is barely making contact. That's only half of it. So I'm going to show you, once we get this apart, what's happened, and it's happened twice. But that said, we got a new coil, and this is a pretty, like I said, it's a pretty intimidating thing to get in here and take a chainsaw apart. And I'll be honest, I'm only doing this time because I've already had this saw apart twice already for this exact same issue with the coil, and I've been able to put that old coil back together when my chainsaw guy would say, that thing shouldn't even be running. And dude, this thing is tough as can be. I love it. And I do. I like this Chinese saw more than I like my MS170. It's got more power, and it's lighter, if that makes any sense. I love this Neotec saw. But this one goofy issue I've had with it. What happened originally is one of the bolts came out of it and rattled, and this thing, it rattles, so I'm not shocked. It rattles so much that it rattled the coil screw loose, and it came out, and I mean, it was just laying down in there, but a piece of the coil was in here making a noise, and I shook it and took the top off, and it fell out on the ground. I was able to pick that up and find a bolt on the ground, and was able to put that thing back together and make it work. But anyway, these screws, it's not nearly as bad as it seems, and that's why I thought, you know what, I should show this on a live stream, because this is an intimidating, kind of intimidating thing to take on, and it might make it a little easier for everybody else if they seen that a clown like me could handle it. That's how I'm looking at it. And if I can do it, there's a whole lot of y'all too that can do it. I'm not saying everybody can. There's some people who are dumber than me. You know who you are. I'm not accusing you of nothing. No. Oh, it's fun times, right? Anyway, so you got to take the gas and the oil cap off and then put them back on, just so you don't get no dust or drop screw down in there or anything like that. And disclaimer, I have not messed with the wires. I have not had to mess with the wires. And yeah, pull that out, set it down. That's what we'll call this a chainsaw repair video. I don't think you're going to see that much on YouTube. Usually YouTube people are doing things and creating things. It's pretty good, fishing or something like that. Or they're just talking, you know. So This might be a little unique. It's definitely unique for me. There's a rubber gasket there, and if you don't get that rubber gasket there, the whole fuel can must come with you. So take that out of the way too. And who knows? I might not get it back together. Might come and find out there's something else in there, or I wasn't as smart as I thought I was. I mean, you know, these things happen. Can't drop that screw out over there. There we go. And there's a washer that goes up here. That's part of that assembly. Now this assembly is pretty good. It's not too dirty, but it's been off. You know, that's another thing. That's all good. We'll set that off to the side. And I wasn't trying to have like much of a show with this. This is more educational. It's educational for me, educational for you. Just trying to figure out which one was the fuel and which one was the oil, so I can put it back on for now. Get down in there. Yeah, I'll squeeze them, put them together. But look how dirty that is, and that's the other thing. So my chainsaw guy, he says, dude, he said, what are you doing? And I said, what do you mean? He said, nobody brings a saw. He said, maybe if it's 30 or 40 years old. He said, no one brings saws into me that are as dirty and full of dirt as your saws. And I said, well, that's because I use them. You know, I actually use my stuff. And, you know, I got it in the dirt, man. I mean, you know, I'm sitting there using this thing as, I mean, you know, I use the chain like sandpaper sometimes, you know, and that's why I get so much dirt. So there we go. We got all that. We got these covered back up. I mean, you can see what I mean. And I'm not going to try to clean that out just because it slowed things down, and it really doesn't matter. All right, so go ahead and take the coil screws out. And you can see right here, there, you know, a lot of dirt in there. This thing has rubbed on that flywheel repeatedly. And I'll tell you what, that screw was loose. And I mean, it wasn't loose, but it wasn't tight. I can tell you that. And I put that on there twice now. I've tightened that screw. So this thing rattles. It's got a lot of power, and it's light. I really, really like it. But this is an issue here that I'm having to check on a regular basis. And I don't know, maybe in China they don't use Loctite. I might have some. I never really thought about that before I started a live stream. I hate to stop and go look for it, but that might be the right thing to do too. I don't know. So that's cool, just like that. Now look what just happened. You see what happened here? Here's the other piece of the coil. This piece, one day I was out here using that thing, and it quit running. And that piece was laying, no, it was running. And this piece was laying on the ground and broke in two pieces. And I was like, well, what the heck is that? I picked it up and set it on a shelf. And I thought, well, I'll ask this guy about it later. You know, what that is. It looks like it came out of the saw. And so I sent him a picture of it. Look how the pieces coming apart. I sent him a picture of these two pieces. He's like, well, that's how cool. What the heck is on my face? Something's on. Some kind of bug had made it all the way up to my cheek. I don't want to happen to him. I'll tell you what, I've killed 2 brown recluse spiders today, so they're probably trying to get me back. But anyway, that thing was broke in half, popped off, and here you look. That's all one piece on this one. For some reason on this one, it either wasn't or it sheared off, one of the two. I don't know. But anyhow, so that's pretty funny stuff, you know. And it ran, and that was the thing he couldn't believe, was that it still ran at all. So that screw went in the backside of that. We're going to try to keep these wires as is, like pull these wires off, because I mean it shuts off fine, and I'd rather use the original wiring than not this though, since the boots broke off. But this one here, I've got to cut that little wire tie. Let me see if I can get this pair of lineman's pliers. This is probably a little big and overkill and all that good stuff, but let me try anyway. It'll probably get it. Won't be the best, but it will get it. And so there, I kind of have it. You know, I don't know if that was 2 pieces or the one piece broke off. It looks like there was a piece laying in there at one time, and you can see how gummed up around that coil was, or the coil right there at the end of that rod, that, you know, you're making the magnetic connection. It's been rubbed real bad. And I mean, look at the dirt. I mean, that's really cool, isn't it? I mean, it really looks like this thing should have never ran under any circumstances, but it did. I mean, it was still running. to this day, and you gotta have some Miller Lite, you know, a little bit. All right, so got this guy. Take that wire off. Plug this wire on. You could probably put some dielectric grease on it if you were going to have this thing for 1,000,000 years and nothing was ever going to go wrong with it, but not me. What do we got here? Here's another piece that was laying in there. And I mean, I'll tell you straight up, I don't even know what the heck that is. That was part of that coil, I guess. I mean, I don't know. It don't look like it should be there now. How about that? I don't know. It kind of does. It's got a, it's got like a little metal. Let's clean it up real good. See what we got. Maybe that's supposed to be there. I don't know. It could be an insulator of some sort to keep the coil off. It's plastic, so yeah. I'll tell you what. I don't know. What I know is it was there, and I'm gonna put it back. How about that? We'll put it back in there. Clean that hole out just a little bit. But anyway, a little plastic piece. That must be an insulator of some sort or something. And maybe that's why the that could potentially have something to do with why these things don't like to stay tight. There's a piece of plastic in there behind it. And that kind of seems cheesy to me. I don't know about you guys, but okay, I'm gonna try to keep it in place. And I know my head's probably getting in the way, but at some point in time, you can't really help it. I'm gonna get that wire in there too. But just something to do. And I'm not mechanical, but apparently I'm mechanical. I'm not afraid to try, but I'm afraid to try. There's a lot of contradictions here. We'll put that back down in there. And somebody's probably going, well, you're dumb because you didn't do this or do that. And you're correct. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. But I know that I'm going to put this on there. And this thing's like old battle axe. Even if it's not that old. I mean, I bet you this got a ridiculous amount of hours. Most people own chainsaws. Every chainsaw they ever owned in their life, I've only had this one since, what, May, I think, or something like April, May. I guarantee you I put more hours on this thing by the end of July than most people would ever put on every chainsaw they ever owned in their lifetime. Because, I mean, I'm a chainsaw carpenter. I mean, so, you know, it makes sense. I use it all the time. So, I'm sure of something else too. Most would probably use a gauge to mic that. I don't have a gauge. I mean, I might even have a gauge, but I don't know how to use it. How about that? But what I know is they shouldn't touch. And it's looking good. Oh, look at that. There's a big old dirt ball on the end of there. I'll try to knock all that off if I can. And from my house, that looks pretty good. So, I mean, the worst thing that happened is it not run. But it was running when I brought it up here. That's the other thing. It never quit running. It just got weak. And it would bog under a heavy load. Like if you were trying to cut something, the length of the bar, that's when and I'm like, man, well, I have that coil. Why am I jacking with this? Well, I'm going to just get in and fix it. And so here we are. And I got a test set up out here so you can see how this is going to go. So that's on. Hey, look at that. I'm glad I didn't get too carried away because before I even come out of the thing, I got to take it back off. These things didn't happen. And it's not a hard fix. I mean, it's just a wire with the freaking stake on came loose, and we can handle that. You know, all the stuff is kind of silly how they build it anymore, so it's not like a shock. But this thing is, to me, it's held up pretty good. This is my go-to. I go to this one before I go to the my MS170. Or any other saw that I have. I go to this one first. I like this saw. I was wondering if I had some magnetic capability to it, but it doesn't. So now I'm trying to reach down in there. Where'd she go? Let's see if I can just roll it over and drop it out. Did that work? Yep. Okay. Let's see. So that's what we got. It just come in, the wire just come out. Actually, that just come, if you look, it just come undone. It's not a big deal to fix it. So we'll put it back in there and start over. And it might have been how I did it, going up against the head there, yeah. It might have just been how I did it. I'll tell you what, I think I'd be better off to restrip that. And let's clip the end of that off and restrip it, because it's plenty long enough. Maybe it'd make more sense to go get strippers, right? I think I can get it. Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, nice fresh wire. Let's rub some dirty hand oil in it. You know, why not, right? Okay. I'm looking at this to see if, yeah, I can't see no reason why that wouldn't. I'll tighten it up a little bit more. I can always solder it. But this little stuff, it just ain't necessary. Just pulling through. As long as the fire's up and runs, we'll go out here and test it a little bit. Just to be safe, I think I'll put some tape over that. I can crush it here. Okay. You know what? Now that I think about it, I think that was right there. See what I mean? I told you I'm not a professional, but I'll try. I can screw it up like about the best of them. How about that? All right. I can't believe that guy. He's dumb as a rock bag. Man, you come from this family, don't you? Okay, let's still settle him down there and see how it goes. As long as it ain't touching nothing, I can't see why it would be an issue. And then we'll have to check our coil again, see how close we're getting. So, yeah, that part looks good, but it's touching. There we go. Never would have hitchhiked to Birmingham if it hadn't been for love. All right, let's see. Clearing it? Yeah, it's clearing it. Nope, gotta go up some. Well, like I said, I don't know, but I'm willing to try. And another thing that comes into play is, to me, it's not what it costs to go get it, have somebody else doing it. It's I don't have time to wait for it. And so, if I can figure out how to do it myself, yeah, is that clearing? Okay, it's clearing. Fire in the hole. Yeah. All right. Anyway, yeah, that's what we got so far. Let's double check it's clearing. And clearing well. Yeah. That's not bad. Okay. And then that wire, it don't look bad. Okay. All right. Hopefully that's right. So, before we go putting the casing back on, well, we're going to have to put the casing back on in order to rotate that, ain't we? Ain't got no choice. All right. So, yeah, let me pull it back off. Let's be safe. Let's pull it back off. Okay. But I feel pretty good about it. We'll see. Wire's on there, so I can shut it back off. Let's go ahead and take these caps back out. Pull this piece there. A little bit of redundancy there, you know, but it kind of is what it is. But you know, like the point of this is, if I can do this, most other people can. I mean, look at Chickanic, man. I mean, you know, there's a good example. Woman that cranks out repairs on this stuff all the time. And she got good advice on this stuff, but that's what she does. And people watch her. I believe people watch her because she's a woman and she's capable of doing that stuff. Well, all people are capable of doing this. You can teach your kids this stuff. You know, so there doesn't have to be nothing like that. All right. And I don't know if I want to get all the screws in it before I want to put the caps back on. I don't know, before I test it. Let's smell it. Make sure you get the oil and the oil and the gas and the gas. Look at that. It's ordered me. Like a snake bite, except for I didn't get bit, right? Put back in there. Get it a little oily, why not? Get some dirt in there, you know, nothing clean the carburetor out like a little dirt, you know. We'll go ahead and put 2 screws in it. Although I don't know why I picked this one, because this is one of the hard ones. That doesn't make any sense, though. It's a hard one to get out. I guess that's life, right? Man, you know, I almost think it was like the hole to nowhere as much as I was having to turn it. Yeah. Okay. Let's get one more in it. And that way we got something to pull on to make sure she fires before we put her back together. And then we'll go out here and do some tests. I got a pumpkin out here that I started on, and that's the irony. We can't keep that stuff, and I don't want to make no more pumpkins. I hate pumpkins. If there's one god-awful thing that you could possibly chainsaw carve, it's pumpkins. I mean, you know, really, I'm not saying I'd rather be shot than carve pumpkins, because one thing about them is they are easy. Can't knock them for that, but I don't want to build anymore. Turn the brake on, and slide that on there, and I think it'll fire. Let's see. Yeah. Maybe. Oh, there we go. She came to life! Ha ha ha! Yeah, it's kind of silly, but you know, it's kind of funny. So let's go ahead and put the other screws in it. And you know, I mean, that's the thing. I'll be able to prove by video that, hey, you know, I'm not too dumb. I'm kind of dumb, but not plumb dumb. You know, some dumb. Just some dumb. Not plumb dumb. Me dumb, you dumb, right? Yeah. Hey, I seen that guy fix a chainsaw. I'll bet he can fix my 2006 Cadillac computer problem. Wrong, don't call me. I'm not coming. I can tell you that. Really? You're not going to help me out? No. If anything, I'll give you $10 to shut up and leave me alone. Oh, yeah, I'll take it. All right. Heck yeah. Goodbye. Let's see. You know, I mean, you got to be friendly. You know, that's the way to do it. You know? Nothing that says, I love you, like, shut up, right? Okay. At least that's my opinion. Put that screw back in. And yeah, I probably should have took the thing back off while I got it over here. But, you know, and nothing like wilding out in a little danger, you know? Okay. Okay. Put that back in there and tighten the top back down, and we'll take it out here and cut on this thing and see how it goes. Let me fire it one more time, make sure. You know how it is. You know how it is. You get it running, and then the stupid stuff, you go to use it and don't do anything. I know somebody's probably saying, man, what's going on with that chain? It's about to fall off. Looks awful. And you're kind of correct. I'll probably better tighten that real quick. We got a minute. That can't hurt. It is pretty loose. Now, one thing I do like about this one, they did do to it that they give it the more modern design than like the 170 or 180, where you gotta go in front of it. To me, that's a hassle. This is the way to do it right here. Have it right there by your screws. But I like this saw. I really like it. And I mean, it's really simple. It's easy for, if I got to take it over to my mechanic guy to work on it. These are like uber basic to him. You know, that don't mean there's nothing hard about them. You know, they're not complicated at all. To a guy that works on them all the time. All right, let's take this thing out here. And I got a pumpkin out here that, yeah, I don't use these for the tops. Let's see what I got here. I don't use these for the tops. I use the, I use 16-inch bar and micro, and I cut the tops out that way. And then I round it and actually carve it with either this one or the 170, or even that John cutter. It's got a cut, and I can do it with my electric saw that's got carbon bar on it even. But this wood is dry, as hard as the rock. It's kind of a hassle, but they make nice pumpkins. Like I tell you, which I hate pumpkins. But that said, okay, let's test this dude out and see how it's gonna go. See if she runs. If she bangs, oh baby, and she moves, oh baby. She punched me in the face and she called me by names. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Let me get geared up with some headphones here real quick. And I actually face mask for this one because this stuff is pressure treated post and it's toxic, and you really should cover your face when you're doing it. Okay. Not on every time, but I should. So let's see how she's gonna run. She's not. Oh wow. The problem is, it wasn't the coil, because it's still running like that even with the brand new coil. It's running exactly the same as it was before I stuck it in there. So that was a waste of time. No, I mean, not really. It needed the coil, but it's probably a carb issue then, and it's going to end up having to go to my chainsaw mechanic. Just the way it is. That, or he'll give me a carb and I'll put it on there and see what happens. But I'm going to carve this pumpkin. I'm going to use this 170. Yeah, your mama. But that said, hey, you know how to change a coil on a chainsaw now. How about that, right? All right. Come on, you turkey. Might have a saw that's still jacked up, but we got some work done here. But yeah, that one will have to go. The Neotec, I'm gonna have it, take it to my chainsaw guy in Logan, Ohio, and have him look at it. But what did we get up to? 48. Hey, Billy Woodchucker, what's going on, guys? Tim List. All right, guys, that's what I got for the night. We were just gonna do that, change that coil out. And holy cow, only been on her for 35 minutes. That's like no time. Maybe I should make something else. I don't know. Yeah, it did not fit. It did not fix it. No, it's still weak. I don't know what's going on with it. Here, I'll show you. I'll bring it back up here, and you can hear it. I mean, it runs. It fires right up. That part's no problem. I was pulling the trigger, and man, that's got to be a carb problem. Maybe it's flooding itself somehow. I don't know. There might have been a screw or something that's coming down in the carb. I know it fires right up. I mean, you can't complain about that. Heck, I didn't realize I've only been on here for 34 minutes. Heck, if I had a heart at all, I'd do something. You know, I mean, I don't know. I do got a Highland cow blanket over here I can do. And heck, I could probably use that saw to do it, honestly. I mean, it don't, I could sand this tomorrow. I'm not getting too carried away with that. But yeah, let me switch some gears here real quick. Change these boards out. It's too, it just seems too early to quit, you know? I mean, that's kind of the way it goes. But I really wasn't like planning on chainsaw really, just really changing that coil out. Hey, I did deliver on the how to change the coil on a chainsaw, so I don't feel bad. It might not have been the problem, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. There's that. Yeah, change the screws over on the battery real quick. So these yeah, that thing there and those. You know what I mean? That thing there and those. You guys ever had that thing there and those? They're kind of fancy. Like Bob and Jim and Tom, y'all and guys that hang out together, you know. And you wonder about them sometimes. But you know, you don't say anything. What the heck's that supposed to mean, Mr. Bear? I don't know. Don't speculate either. Always best to shut up, mind your business. Okay. Okay. I got this guy. And these little guys are good sellers and fun to make. Not too bad, not too good. Now, I got a problem. And the problem is, I got a somewhat fairly not too unfresh beer in there. And I left it in there, and I kind of think I should go get it. Hey, Shane, how's it going? Yeah, well, I cleaned the air filter out already. That was like first thing I did. So it could be the filter inside the fuel tank. But I kind of doubt it, you know, because it has times when it has pretty good power, and that thing fires right up. So I don't know. It's hard to say. You'll have that. You'll have this. You know, it's just the way these technical things go. Sometimes the junk just breaks, you know. I mean, oh, well. But anyway, I got this natural fuel, right? Yeah, and it's it don't come in a blue can that makes you want to shift gears. I don't know. Okay, yeah, enough said there, right? Okay, let's see if we can't carve this thing real quick after a brief intermission. All right, sound good? All right, let's play with this thing some. We'll just go ahead and run it in a kind of miserable fashion and see how it goes. What the heck? despite that running issue, I've been able so far to carve this, at least outline this Highland cow out. And we'll keep going until this thing runs out of fuel or I get it done, one of the two. I'm gonna tell you up front, if you're having to hear this right now, now look, Steve, that guy's out there, and he's making that with a chainsaw. And you know, Dave, I've watched you for all these years use a chainsaw to cut up them limbs, and I know that you could go out there and do that too. So if you had a heart on, you really love me, you would go out there like that guy's doing, and you would make me one of them things. And for that, guys, I'm sorry. In there listening, and his wife just heard that. She's like, "That's it, I'm out of the room." And he's like, "What are you talking about, honey? Tonight was supposed to be the night. Oh, I wish I'd have never picked up my phone and looked at YouTube." guys have seen, even though I'm having an issue with this saw when you put a load in it, I'm still able to carve with it. So, you know, whatever. Well, I mean, despite the issue we had with it, we were able to carve that whole thing with this saw. So, I don't know. That's the way it is, right? It really wasn't under a load. So, you know, it ran fine the whole time. I guess I could take, I've got this block here. Hold on a minute. Finish that off real quick. And see if we can't, I about broke it trying to pull it out of here. See how it cuts in this block. Let me get my headphones back on. And, you know, it might be once it got hot, it was running okay. I don't know. I don't know. But I don't think so. I think it was still bogging. But it wasn't bogging because I wasn't cutting deep. I'll need to find something harder than that because it zipped right through that. Okay, these were pretty hard. Oh, yeah, I got one of these blocks. I don't know. I know it zipped right through that block like it was nothing. So, I don't know. Let's find out how it does on. These are hard. Well, I wonder if it's out of fuel too. I don't know. Hey, the world will never know. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty low. I don't see none on there. Yeah, I think I run out of fuel. So I don't know. It is what it is. All right, guys, that's what I'm going to have for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night. Hey, Michael, what's going on, buddy? Glad to see you. Woodchucker, Billy, well, you know, guys. Heck yeah. But that's what I know. And, hey, Michael sent me a thumbs up. Heck yeah, man. I appreciate that. We'll probably do some flex shaft because actually tonight, that's what I had planned on doing was I wanted to make a face in some cottonwood. And, but I was like, well, you know, let's do something a little different and do this video on changing this part out. And that went pretty good, but it's still, there's something that where it bogs down under that heavy load. So I got to think that that's probably a carb or something like that. It's hard to say. But I know I can still carve with it until I get it figured out. And that's the irony. My guy that fixes this stuff is at the Paul Bunyan in Cambridge this weekend. So, or this week. So I ain't getting it fixed this week, you know. All right, guys, that's what I got. I'll catch y'all tomorrow. Appreciate you being in there. Come back when you can stay later, you schmucks.